This Carmelo Anthony story is concerning for so many reasons. And look, I could sit here all day listing all of these reasons, and I already put out like a dozen videos going over some of these reasons, but quite possibly one of the most concerning things of all is that unlike other true crime cases, unlike most of the other stories we talk about on this channel, young people are following this story. Young kids, young teenagers are watching this case play out. Now, of course, this story involves two 17-year-old boys, both football players, both really popular in their high schools. And this story has gotten really popular on TikTok, and we know the kids love TikTok. So because of those reasons, kids all over America are talking about this case. And they're following this case. All of the crazy stuff I've been showing you guys, they see it too. So basically, these kids are watching their elders act a complete ass over this case. And we know kids are impressionable. Look, I know a lot of kids are raised right. A lot of kids know the difference between right and wrong by the time they get to high school. But there's also a lot of kids out here that are already on the wrong path. Some are already on a very dark path. And when they see all of these viral videos online of adults basically defending what Carmelo did, saying that it's okay, congratulating him, in some of these kids' minds, maybe that will make them feel as if it would be justified if they do something like what Carmelo did. A lot of these kids don't have a proper, structure in their house. They don't have parents who care. So they turn on social media and they're parented by social media, and they see all of these grown-ass men and women sitting their asses on TikTok just defending Carmelo and praising him like a hero, saying, yeah, this is how people should react. If someone touches your backpack in school, you should shank them in the chest. That's the message a lot of these kids are getting. And look, we already have a problem with violence in our schools. There's already a lot of fights in schools. And then, of course, no one can deny that every couple of days there's another story about some psycho kid. Half the time they're jacked up on like antidepressants and stuff. They go into a school and they do something crazy. We see it happen a lot in this country, right? We already got enough of that. The last thing we need is for kids who aren't insane, for more normal kids who, maybe they get in some problems. Maybe they might get into a fist fight or a shoving match. The last thing we need is for those kids to start thinking, okay, we're going to treat school like prison. We're going to carry around shanks and we're going to shank everyone who we fight now. There's no longer going to be fist fights, no longer a little pushing and shoving that results in nothing. No, we're going to pull out blades and we're going to start poking people. And we already saw another situation like that happen just this week. A situation that probably would not have happened if it wasn't for Carmelo Anthony. But I feel like some kids are kind of, I don't want to say inspired by this, but you guys do realize we live in a monkey see, monkey do society. If you see one person doing something, another person's going to do the same thing, right? And this monkey see, monkey do mentality, it's been amplified by social media and definitely by stuff like TikTok, right? Tik Tok Trends. We're all going to make the same kind of videos. We're all going to do the same kind of dance. So many people are already programmed into this mentality, and many of these kids these days, they've been raised in this mentality. From the time they were born, their mom was on TikTok doing, the little TikTok trends with them, and they grow up doing their little TikTok trends. So when they see someone do something, they do it as well. When they see someone act out like Carmelo did, and then they see the reaction to it, which largely was a positive reaction on Carmelo's behalf, like a lot of people were supporting him, they see that it sends a very, very, very bad message. A message that some of these impressionable kids who are already on a dark path, a message that they will receive and act on. And I don't understand why a bunch of grown adults don't realize that. Like you are trying to justify kids stabbing each other in the chest at school track meets, and a lot of you all have kids that you've got to send that you still got to send to school. A lot of the people defending Carmelo got kids that are playing football or running track right now, and they're defending that as if that couldn't happen to their kid as well. But like I said, we live in this trendy society where everyone sees something and they want to do the same thing. So now you got a lot of kids probably going to school, packing a knife in their backpack. Oh, touch me and see what happens. Touch me and see what happens. Thinking that, oh, I can do this now. Because all the grown folks on TikTok said it's okay. But not just that. They're watching Carmelo get all of this praise. They're watching him become kind of like an internet celebrity in a way. I mean, he's not really, I'm not saying he's out here talking and doing a lot, but people have made an internet celebrity out of him. They're saying, oh man, what? $500,000? More money than these kids can even dream of. And a lot of these kids are in bad areas, and oh, Carmelo got his family into a new house. Carmelo's getting his family into a nice new gated community. All you got to do is stab someone? This is, like I said, probably the craziest message that you could send to kids these days. Because these young kids are already crashing out. They're already making horrible decisions. They're already crazier. Each generation gets crazier and crazier and crazier. These young kids are already killing each other at alarming rates. And now, they're watching as this entire community comes together in support of Carmelo while blasting this message everywhere that it's okay to do what Carmelo did, and if you do, we got your back. And that, my friends, should concern everyone, not just Austin Metcalf supporters, because like I said, people who are supporting Carmelo, you still got to send your kid to school. You still got to take your kid to the bus stop, maybe pick them up from the bus stop. You still got to take them to football practice. You still got to go see them at their track meets. But you see these people pouring fuel all over the fire, just saying the most vile, hateful things you can imagine, while celebrating Austin's murder because, I don't know, some people feel like they're getting a political victory when they do it. Some people feel like this is a win for their race. Oh, this is a racial victory. And everyone's caught up in the hate and the division, and no one is thinking about what type of environment they are making for their kids. Because for a lot of these kids going to school now, there was school before Carmelo, and now there's school after Carmelo. And I mean nationwide. I'm not just talking about the kids who went to Carmelo's school. No, nationwide now, we're going to start seeing more of an issue with kids getting shanked in school. I can guarantee you. It's only a matter of time before we see a copycat situation that's kind of like the one that we're witnessing play out right now in the Austin Metcalf case. Because the message has been sent and people have gotten the message loud and clear that this is how we operate now. This is how we do things now. Yeah, sure, we used to fight. Maybe we'll have a fist fight in the hallway. Maybe we'll get expelled. But at the end of the day, we're both alive. No, not anymore. Everyone's going to have to pack a knife, and we're just going to have knife fights in the hallway now. Because mommy and daddy, or at least the mommy and daddy I saw on TikTok, said it's okay. This is how you handle things if people tell you to get out of your seat or if people grab your backpack. This is how you handle things. So the people who are supporting Carmelo, they are making schools nationwide a more dangerous place than they already are. Not just for kids of Austin Metcalf supporters, but for their own kids as well. But they don't care. Because for a lot of people, hate outweighs everything else in their life. And the people who are celebrating Austin's murder, the parents who are celebrating Austin's murder and sending the message that what Carmelo did was okay, their hate for white people must outweigh the love they have for their own kids. Because they're putting their kid in a situation where either they may get stabbed in the chest over something stupid, or they feel like they need to stab someone in the chest over something stupid, and they either wind up dead or in prison. There's no good outcome. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that for a little bit because I've been noticing that there are young people following this case. Even some of my nephews were talking about the case, and I was like, whoa, why y'all are following this? So yeah, it was kind of weird hearing that. And I wanted to touch on this because, you know, this story's gone really viral on TikTok. And the young kids, they're all on TikTok sharing a lot of the same stuff that we're talking about here. And who knows how their minds are processing this because, yes, this story involved 2 kids, but the conversations surrounding this story have been adult conversations. Or at least we have, on one side, we have adults with rational thinking brains. On the other side, we have adults who, I don't want to compare them to kids because even at the age of 5 or 6, I felt like I probably knew that, you know, stabbing someone in the chest at a track meet would be wrong. So I don't even want to compare these people to kids. I don't know what to compare them to. I can't compare them to anything human, but we're just dealing with a raging pack of crazies, and then we're dealing with some rational people on the other side, right? But yeah, I just feel bad that kids are having to navigate through all of this type of stuff these days. You know what I mean? These are the type of things that kids shouldn't have to worry about. These are debates and stuff that kids shouldn't have to take part in. Because, I mean, for the most part, when you're a kid, you know, there is some racial stuff going on, but for the most part, you just get along with everyone. You know what I mean? But we spent our time here talking about some negative stuff. I want to show you something positive really quickly. Because there was a track meet recently, and at this track meet, all of the kids there were honoring Austin Metcalf. They wrote Austin Metcalf's name on their legs while they competed. And it was just nice to see that as all of this toxicity is spreading amongst adults, kids are being positive. It was so refreshing to actually see that, okay, yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the adult world, but at least some of these kids are going to be okay. At least some of these kids are going to be all right because they seem to, I don't know, be able to handle this situation better than a lot of the adults that we're seeing speak up on this case. They seem to be more kind-hearted and compassionate than a lot of the loudest voices that are out here screaming, "Free Carmelo, justice for Carmelo," right? You know, so as I've been covering this story, I've been exposed to just so much hateful stuff, right? And it makes you kind of lose faith in humanity. And I say that about a lot of stories that I cover because when you get into the nitty gritty and you just see how down low some people can get, it kind of messes up your outlook on life. It makes you kind of view, you know, the world in more of a negative light. And I don't want to feel that way, right? So it's always nice when you're in, you know, knee deep, not even knee deep, when you're like fully submerged in negativity, it's nice seeing some positivity for once. So hopefully this is just a little cleanser here for you guys to see that not everyone is dealing with the Austin Metcalf case in the way that some of these crazy Carmelo supporters are. At least the kids, a lot of them understand that what happened was wrong, and they're honoring Austin's life. So that's a beautiful sight to see. But with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed everything you heard here, consider supporting the channel. You can support the channel for free by liking the video, sharing the video on social media, subscribing, dropping a comment below, or you can take your support one step further and donate via Cash App or Super Thanks. But with all of that being said, I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.